We are looking at watermelon today. Watermelon is something I like to grow here in the summer because not much grows in the garden in the summer. The trees are doing great with fruit, but it gets too hot to grow your normal greens in the summer. Some people do perennial summer greens, but I like to plant watermelon. And I just finished weeding out my yard and I found watermelons amongst the weeds that I'm going to talk about in this video. I planted at the beginning of the summer, maybe in the spring, about 6 different varieties of watermelon, and just to see what would happen. Now, I didn't have water on them. I hand watered them for a little pot, but then I let the rain do its thing, and I got a good amount of watermelon here. I'm happy with it, but it was so weeded I didn't find many of them until they were actually bad. But I wanted to do an experiment today also, other than trying these different watermelons. I heard that watermelons in the store are injected with a red dye to make them more red. And it doesn't surprise me that things like this are happening, but I wanted to see if this was real or if it was a myth. Because most people that do this test, when they buy a watermelon from the store, it comes out red on the test, showing that, oh, this is a dye that's put in there. None of them, I haven't seen anyone do this test with their own homegrown watermelons. So I wanted to try it. And I did it several times, and the results reveal if this is true or if this is a myth. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of the watermelons I harvested this year, and we're also going to talk about the myth or the truth. If you take the red dye test for watermelons, does that mean the watermelons are injected with red dye or not? So enjoy this video, and if you have any comments, suggestions, or tips, put them below in the comments. And here we go. Today's the day. As you see, I got a bunch of weeds behind me, but they're not weeds only. They're watermelon growing in my garden beds. Now, I continually want to learn how to grow watermelons. And I was watering these by hand. I emptied the garden beds, and the greens don't grow well here in the summertime because I'm in South Florida and it's really hot. But watermelons I've had success with in the past, just experimenting, different types, different times. So the positive thing was I got a good amount of watermelons, as you'll see in today's video. The negative thing is I don't have water in my garden. I always hand water them, and I stopped watering them. It is the summertime. It rained a good amount. Next year I'll be hooking some irrigation up to the garden beds. However, I just wanted to plant watermelon seeds and see what would happen. And I have one I'm going to harvest today. And there's another sugar bell down there I'm going to harvest, and I'm going to look through all that and see if there's any other ones hiding in there of any other varieties. So I'm really excited. I'm going to pick this now and we'll see how it is. All right, in the summer here in Florida, we can't plant too many greens. So I let my garden grow. I put a bunch of watermelon inside the garden beds. And look what I got. There's watermelon. There's 2 watermelons there. And if you come here, there's several other watermelons. And I saw that one was split, so I figured maybe it's time. I planted a bunch of varieties, different varieties in each bed. But this particular one looks like this one that I planted. It's called Jocelyn Gray. I don't think I've ever had this variety before. But besides that one splitting, another one the way I could tell this is ready is this is called the Tantrum, and it's ready. It's all brown. Now, this color is a light green watermelon, so it's normal for this one. But I'm going to pick this and open it up, and hopefully it'll be ready. I have several other varieties. The only other one I see that's ready is a sugar bell. That looks like it's ready. But it looks like all these other ones are ready. And we'll see if there's any good surprise in all these. I'm excited to pick this one. All right, this is my weed field where I grew all these watermelons to let them grow. I wonder how many more are hiding in there. We'll see. But here, this is another one. This is a sugar bell, or sugar baby. And there's how you can tell they're ripe. The tantrum, it turned brown. The wiggly part is brown, so this is ready to go. I had another one laying here, but it fell off and broke off too early. this one is ready to go. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, I got the scale out. I just picked the watermelon. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and weigh it, and let's see what it is. Try to do this with one hand. All right, it's on the scale now. 27.8. All right, everybody, that's this variety here. Charleston Gray. We just weighed it on the scale. Nice. 27.8. All right, we'll cut it open and see how it is. Okay, so here are the 2 watermelons we picked that we're gonna harvest today. This is Sugar Baby watermelon, and this is the other one. See the different color of the skin because they're 2 different varieties. We're gonna harvest it now and see how it is. Okay, so we're gonna open both of these to see if I picked them at the right time. This is exciting. Looking good. Let's open them up and taste them. Wow, look at that. Seeds in them. Let's taste it. That is a sweet watermelon. Wow, with the seeds. All right, now we're gonna cut open the Sugar Baby, or Sugar Belle, Sugar Baby. Pop it right open. Whoa, look at that. I actually could have cut this sooner. All right, it's watermelon time. But let's see what the internet's saying about how you can tell if the watermelon has been at least punctured with food coloring.
Cut the watermelon into 2 halves. Take a cotton ball and rub it in the inner succulent part of the
Now you could also do this with paper towel from what I understand, but here they're doing it with a cotton ball.
watermelon. The cotton ball rubbed on the unadulterated watermelon does not change color. The cotton ball rubbed on the adulterated watermelon turns red.
There you have it. If you are going to buy watermelon from the store, which if you can't grow it, I do recommend. Watermelon's a good food. Try getting it from the store. If you can get organic watermelon, so much better. But do this test. Do this test. And you know, I'm not going to take the internet's word for it. I'm going to try it with my watermelon. Because I did this on a watermelon I did buy from the store. And it did come out with that color on it. I did it with a paper towel. And I rubbed it. I didn't just touch it. So I don't know if that was it. But I'm going to buy a watermelon from the store. But I have this watermelon that I grew. And I have a bunch of others that I grew here. I'm going to try it and see. Yes, I will film it for you. I'm trying to keep you informed. This isn't telling you to stop eating watermelon because you can't grow it, but at least do this test if you buy it from the store. At least if you live somewhere, maybe in Texas or somewhere else where they're growing watermelon, go to the farm. Maybe you can get that watermelon before the people that get it from the farm. Okay, everybody, here we are, and we're going to be doing the watermelon test. This is a watermelon that I grew in my own yard recently. And I just harvested it. I have another one as well, a different variety. And this is one I just got from the store. Now this one is actually seedless. This one is seeded. It has seeds. This one's seedless. That's all they had at the store, which is another advantage to growing your own. But we're going to test out and see, because I heard people saying, like the video I have in my video, to see if it's real, if it's been injected or not, to see if the coloring. And just if this passed that, it doesn't mean that it's okay to buy watermelon in the store. It just means this particular one didn't have the injection in it as for the coloring, but it could still have other injections in it. Now I don't see any needle marks here at all. So, and another interesting thing before I do cut it is, this is the tantrum of this watermelon, and it's still on here. So this shows me that this is a locally picked watermelon, because normally they would cut this off if it traveled a long way, most likely. So this is most likely, and we are in Florida, so watermelons are grown here locally. So we're going to cut this open. It's a much bigger watermelon than mine. We're going to see how it is. All right, so it actually looks like a nice watermelon. There's no cracks. The previous one I got did have cracks that I tested, and it did come out. It rubbed off on here. This one doesn't have any cracks. It's seeded, and it's a nice red. It's not super red, so it might not have the coloring in there. So we're gonna take the paper now. And I'm not using cotton. I do have a cotton swab here. I'll use the cotton like they said. And we're going to pat it and see if this is going to turn red or not, to see if it's an injected watermelon. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just pat it down here. And did it turn red? Let's see. So it did turn red. And if I rubbed it, it turned even more red. Let me try that with the paper towel, because I don't have another, and it kind of turned red as well. So that was this here. I don't have another cotton swab to check this out. Okay, now this is my watermelon, so I'm going to try this and see how it is. First, let me clean the knife. If that is infected, if that is in fact infected, we definitely don't want it rubbing off on my watermelon. But we'll see. Now again, this might also rub off. It might, we'll see how it goes. It might not just be that. I definitely didn't inject this watermelon, so let's see. That's amazing. I didn't even know this. Look, there's a yellow watermelon. I forgot I had planted some yellow watermelons. That's pretty amazing. That is so cool. So I'm not even going to try that trick with that. I'm going to eat that. That's really cool. But I'm going to go get another watermelon that I have here. That's really cool. I planted several different watermelons. This is another watermelon I planted. This one is actually called Moon and Stars, this watermelon, because there's like a moon here. This is a really cool watermelon. And let's cut this one open. Whoa, it popped open. This one probably is overripe when they pop open like that. It is. It's overripe for sure. So when picking your own watermelons, you're not always sure how they're going to be. But I got some more watermelons we're going to try. So let me put this on the side. Okay, so I just grabbed some more watermelons that was in my yard. This one is probably underripe, and this one might be overripe. But we'll see. This is, I've been growing watermelons now for about 3 years. But this was my first big harvest. So let's see. Underripe, and I knew it was underripe when I picked it, so let's put that on the side. All these watermelons. And I think this one was overripe, but I do have a nice ripe one. We'll be able to check it. Oh, this one's nice. This is called a strawberry melon, I believe. Look at that. That's a nice color. Let's see. Let's do the test now, and let's see. So apparently this should not turn super red. I definitely didn't inject this. Let's see compared to this. Well, it's quite interesting. Yeah, this definitely turned red. So that might not be the best way to tell, but let's go ahead and taste this variety of a watermelon I've never had before. Wow. Wow. Wow, this is a nice watermelon. I'm going to save the seeds. It wasn't my initial intent to compare all my other watermelons, but That one's nice. So, we learned something that even if it's not injected, it will still turn red. So, I don't know if that's a myth or not, but it's good to know. What I did was I planted a bunch of watermelons in my garden bed, and I kind of waited too long to pick some of them, and some of them I picked too soon. I'm learning here. We're going to taste the yellow one in a moment. But I got this one, a Charleston Gray, and that's a really big one that I did in the previous video. I'll show you a clip here. Turned out wonderful. This one, I'm trying to figure out which one this one was. But this is the yellow one that I planted, called Clay County Yellow. So we're going to try posting that. And I got all of these from Baker Creek. Then there was Moon and Stars, but I don't believe that's the right shape of the Moon and Stars. I think the Moon and Stars, yeah, I'm not sure which one the Moon and Stars was, but I planted a Jubilee that didn't come out. A Sugar Baby, that's more of a round one. Well, this one is another yellow one I planted called the Lee Lanu Sweet Glow. So it might be that one. I gotta see that other yellow one. This is so many beautiful varieties. So it could be one of those two. We're gonna taste the yellow one. I have a Crimson Sweet. Here it is, strawberry. That's what we're doing right now. This is a strawberry watermelon. It's really nice. Wow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn for next year which ones I want to plant. And this watermelon had like a little point at the end. That was really nice. I'm going to put that down on the side and definitely eat that later. Wow, that's really nice. And I'll save the seeds to these watermelons for next year. I just gotta label them correctly. I got a bunch of watermelon seeds that I didn't I didn't plant yet. There was another one of the yellow one that I planted. This one's called Royal Golden. It's a yellow on the outside watermelon. Then there's a Jubilee, a Wilson Sweet. So I didn't get to plant all the watermelon yet, but of the ones I did, wow, this strawberry one seems pretty amazing. And at Baker Creek, just order as many watermelons as you can. Now, watermelon grows here in the summertime, so I don't know how much longer the season's going to be. So let's try this yellow watermelon now. Wow. I had a couple yellow ones when I was mowing the lawn. They actually, I mowed over them and killed them, but interesting. Not as sweet, but very firm. Maybe I could have waited longer before I harvested it. But how cool to eat a yellow watermelon. And a lot of things with the watermelon is when you're picking them. You got to make sure you get them at the right stage. This strawberry one though, I like cold watermelon. I'm going to cut this up and put it in the... So we'll have to do that test another time. I got some other watermelons. We'll try that test again, but they'll show red even if they're not injected. Let me see what else I have. And this one's a mini Charleston Gray. It's actually I think I cut it too soon, but we'll see. Well, maybe it just came out smaller. I'm going to do the test with that one. Yeah? Came out somewhat red. And then, so I don't know if that's true or not about the injection color-wise, but actually this one's really nice. Even though it's small, I picked it at the right time. This is a Charleston Gray. Look at this table, folks. Let's compare the Charleston Gray to the strawberry. And next year I'm going to rock this. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to have the weeds in the way like I did this year. And I'm also going to have more water on them because I don't have as much water on them. It's interesting. I don't know if it's fully ripe or not, but the seeds in the strawberry watermelon are white. Normally with watermelons, white seeds mean they're not completely mature compared to the black ones, but each variety is different. So it could be the variety. This strawberry watermelon is something else. The seeds do look mature, so I'm going to assume that they are ready and we're going to save those seeds. All right, everybody, there you have it. That answers the question, the common myth. Apparently, all watermelons are going to get red if you pat them down with cotton. Maybe some varieties might not if they're not as watery or picked at a different time. But it doesn't make sense because I've seen some videos online that if you put the injection in it, the only part that would be red is that part where you put it. It wouldn't disperse evenly throughout the watermelon like some possibly Photoshopped pictures show. But you never know. You never know with technology what's happening and what's going on. Maybe they are being injected. But either way, I'm going to grow my own watermelon so I don't have to think about that, worry about that. And I saved the seeds for my watermelon here. And I'm excited. I tasted some new varieties and they weren't difficult to grow. And I'm going to do an even better job next year keeping the weeds out and putting more water on them. So we'll see how it goes. I hope this video helped you understand about growing watermelon a little bit more, the do's and the don't do's, because I did some things I shouldn't have been doing. But that's how we learn, that's how we grow.